What is up, Rock Girls? Welcome back to the Unemployed Podcast. Today's episode is so special to me. We have my friend and client, Kristy Castillo, who is in the studio with us today, sharing her raw and relatable journey from being a full-time hairstylist and a mom of two to launching a fitness brand, a podcast, and just honestly changing her life. I mean, so much has happened for her in the last few years, and I was just telling her this the other day. Her life is going to be completely different in a year from now. She is just on such a roll with her business. Things are moving. Her podcast is absolutely blowing up. She just hit the 1,000,000 download mark. And oh my God, it's just so incredible to see. And the best part is that Kristy comes on the podcast today and she just breaks it all down. She breaks down exactly what it was like starting her business. She opens up about the messy middle of her own personal entrepreneurship journey. She talked about starting her podcast, Unfuck Your Fitness. And she even talks about the journey of it starting really slow, which I think a lot of people are going to love this story because it can be very relatable, and how her podcast just went from a very slow growth show to seemingly just completely taking off overnight and changing her entire life and business. I really love how Kristy approached this episode. She just didn't hold back, which is something I really admire about her. I think it can be kind of scary as someone who's in a position to help other people. It can be really tough to be vulnerable sometimes when you're someone who's in a position of almost feeling like you have to be the strong one or the one who has it all together. And this is just what I love about Kristy. She's just so honest. She's so real about everything. She really talks about the importance of showing up authentically in your business. And she talks about a very surprising moment in her business when everything literally changed overnight. If you've ever felt like you're building a business and things are just going really slow, or maybe you are trying to start a podcast or a YouTube channel, or you're just trying to get something off the ground and it's feeling like it's slow, it's feeling like it's just not working the way you want it to work, you are absolutely going to love this episode. So without further ado, let's get into the episode with Kristy. Kristy, welcome to the Unemployed Podcast. I'm
Hey,
very excited
girl.
for this conversation today.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Who were you before the business, before the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast, all the things? What was your life like?
Well, I was a hairstylist. I am married. I am a mother of two. I have a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old as of 2 days ago, which is so crazy to say. Like on his birthday, I was like 17. That just felt like such a big, I don't know, a big number. But anyway, and I was a full-time hairstylist and loved, loved, loved working out. But I also loved, loved, loved working with people. In high school, I remember not really knowing what I wanted to do. I even told my guidance counselor, she called us in like, whatever year it is of school. And what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do after school? And I'm like, I have no idea. I just want to talk to people. I want to help people. I love people, love people. And she's like, what about being a hairstylist? Like your hair is always cute. You look fashionable. You get to talk to people. What about that? Fantastic. It was like, what, a year of school. And I'm like, awesome. That sounds perfect. Ended up loving it. And yeah, I was a hairstylist for 15, 17 years, something
Wow,
like that, before I decided to go all in on fitness online.
crazy. So what was the turning point? Like what made you go from hairstyling to fitness?
Honestly, I was already kind of making the switch. So I was working about part-time hairstylist, part-time online fitness. And 2020, when everything kind of went crazy and I couldn't do hair in person anymore because that was illegal at the time. So I couldn't go to work and do hair, but online fitness, people were at home and wanted to work out and kind of hit me up like, hey, what should I do for online workouts? That just kind of so genuinely made that switch to, oh, okay, well, people are working out from home, so I can do this job a little bit more. And honestly, I just never went back after that. So that was also a very seamless transition into this.
So was it like your hairstylist people just kind of knew that that's what you did on the side, or like they looked up to you for that, or like were you sharing pieces of your fitness online, or how was it? Like how did it connect?
Sure. So I started Beachbody coaching while I was still a hairstylist. My
Gotcha.
first few clients were my first few fitness clients were hair styling clients because it's just kind of who I knew and who I
Yeah.
talked to. So that very seamlessly happened as well. But yes, I was sharing, I was already wanting, like trying to discover for myself how to get into this fitness world. So starting with Beachbody was the way that I chose to do that. So I think I had already had my personal training certification. I was kind of getting out of Beachbody at that point. So when I started doing this full time, I was not with Beachbody anymore, but I had been posting about my journey. People had see my transformation. I'm obsessed with it, kind of talking about it. So yeah, I was already posting about it for sure.
Fuck, I feel like 2020. Okay, this is so side tangent, but just as you were talking, I was thinking of this. But like, do you ever wonder, this is going to be so conspiracy, but do you ever wonder if that all happened to like get people working online?
That's a very interesting question.
Because I feel like, okay, literally, it's just like not everyone I talk to, but so many
Yeah,
people. I'm like, when did you start? And it's like, oh, 2020, I got online. I couldn't do this at work anymore. And I'm just like, I
yeah.
wonder.
No, that's actually, I kind of like that view because I think it gets a negative rep for sure. Because like, yeah, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do hair. I couldn't, but I could do all these
Yeah,
other things. So yeah, I don't hate that. I think
wild.
it definitely happened for a shift, like the online could be like, did it happen so people could go online? But did it happen so people could like figure shit out and maybe take a little different turn? For sure.
I feel
For
like
sure.
that's just gonna be like, I'm like, why are they wanting us to all go out? I don't know. That's gonna be like my own little
Yeah.
conspiracy rabbit hole I go on
We'll
after
dig
because I
into
feel
that.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I need to look into that.
No, you're
But
right.
okay, so when you came online then and you weren't doing hair, what was that like? Like, did you get on, you had your first couple of clients and like starting the business online, did it just absolutely take off for you? Were you working with people one-on-one? Like, what did that look like?
No, it was I don't even know what word to describe it. It was so scary. It
Yeah.
was so hard. My only business training at that point was Beachbody, which I could talk about. That's a whole another side tangent. But going from that into my own world and trying to navigate what I learned there, basically kind of discarding all of what I learned there, I guess, in a way. And going online it did not happen quickly for sure.
Hmm.
I was very much in that period of trying to figure out not only is 2020 a hot mess of a time of, my kids are home full time, my husband's home full time, I'm home full time. My life is like, obviously, all of our lives are flipped upside down. And then also to go into this space of, I don't know how to coach online. I mean, like how to put myself out there, content, whatever that means. Yeah, it was a very, very rough transition. I hired a couple coaches. They definitely helped
Hmm.
to get me, some of them helped me to know what I didn't want to do. Some of them helped me to know what I did want to do. It was definitely an experimental period and it was very hard. I'm very thankful for it, but it wasn't until I started the podcast in 2023 that business took off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think with the podcast? Because for those of you listening, and like I was said in the beginning of this, Kristy has a very successful podcast and it really has taken off. Like what, 20, would you say 2024 or 2025? Or when do you think it actually started?
The It took off about a year after I started it, so I
Okay.
guess 2024.
Okay, so let's get into that. What do you think really led to that growth? Because I know that you, and for those of you listening, Christy's a client of mine as well. So I kind of see
Yes.
like the insides a little bit of like, oh my God, the podcast just absolutely took off here.
Yeah.
What do you think was the change? What do you think you started doing for the podcast to just explode like that?
The podcast allowed me to show up authentically, and that truly was what changed the game. It was like me
Yeah.
just showing up just like this and talking to my girls and saying things that I felt like I couldn't say online because for whatever reason, when I started the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast, it was very intentionally like we are unfucking your fitness. I'm not just going to sit here and I have all these thoughts behind the scenes, but putting it out into social media felt I don't know how. I don't know what to say. I'm going to be judged. It was a lot because I had already had quite a few followers as far as it just being scary enough. But the podcast, even though I wanted it to go big, I wanted it to go well, for some reason you know that it feels so intimate when it's just
Yeah.
you talking to your favorite people. And for whatever reason, I felt secure enough to just say things that I would not say online. And ladies fucking loved it. And here we are. I mean, it was just instantly like, I want to work with you. You're saying it like it is. This is exactly how I feel. I feel, you know, literally exactly what you're saying is exactly how I feel. Thank you for saying it. Thank you for sharing what you've went through. I mean, it was just, it was absolutely that authenticity that helped people understand that I was like there for them, I think,
Mhm.
and that they could trust me. So yeah, authenticity for sure.
And do you think when you first started the podcast, was it like the same kind of response? Like, was it day one, episode one, that you were just getting this kind of, or what was the build like?
No,
Take
it
us
was a
through like the
year.
begin, like the whole podcast journey, if you will.
Okay, so the podcast, I remember being in Mexico with my family the day that it launched. I had a podcast manager, a friend of mine, Emily, help me because I was like, I'm so scared to do this. I don't know how to technically start a podcast or grow it or show notes. And I really like to speak and talk
Mhm.
and chill, not write. That's not my thing. So she helped me. I remember it going out. Nobody, I mean, maybe, a couple hundred listeners here and there, downloads. It was a year into the podcast that it really took off, but I did not care. I remember just thinking, I'm just going to start this podcast. I am the definition of consistency in any area. I'm very slow, very steady, very consistent. So if I'm going to start a podcast, I'm going to do it potentially for the rest of my life. Like it's just how I am with my workouts, with you as a coach, like anything. I'm just like, if I want to do this, I'm going to do it. And yeah, it was a year in and it grew very, very slowly. And I was happy with that. I had no expectations other than for myself to show up with a great episode idea, great content every single week and hope that people find it because I knew it would be really, really helpful. But it wasn't until January. So the podcast launched in March of, I guess it would have been 23, I think. Uh, it might have been 22. I have no concept of time right now. And then so it was the next January when everybody's, looking up fitness and health and New Year's resolutions and how to get fit. It was January of the following year that overnight downloads went just wild and everything went absolutely crazy. So in a sense, it did happen overnight, but it was a year into the
Yeah.
podcast that it happened overnight. But thank God, because I would not have been ready for the influx of
Uh-huh.
messages, people, any of that on day one. I would have had no
Yeah.
idea what I was doing.
Do you think that it was people finding it just because of like New Year's and people were looking that up, or like did anyone share it? 'Cause I ask because a lot of people who listen to this podcast are trying to start
Hmm.
podcasts or in like obviously in the entrepreneurial space, and I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with like how to actually get a podcast discovered
Yeah.
instead of just posting constantly on social media. And it kind of doesn't sound like that was the case for you. So, do you mind breaking that down or what you think that actually was?
I think, and we've looked into it with stats, and just
Yeah.
shares and things like that. It was absolutely the time of year for me. It was
Cool.
that influx happened very naturally. And it was just, and people would reach out honestly and say, I mean, people feel so comfortable with me after listening to a couple episodes that
Yeah.
that I get so many messages, just like, just found you in the podcast, just wanted to say thank you. So it was instantly people were messaging, just found your podcast. I Googled health, I Googled macros, I Googled fitness, I Googled fat loss, or search that in the podcast, Apple, Spotify, whatever, and found your podcast. So it was not people sharing that I can honestly, there were, I mean, maybe seriously 200 to 300 downloads a week, which is, great, but it went from that to 5,000 overnight and then just another 5,000 the next week. It was just so crazy. So yeah, it was definitely the time of year. I know that there are tactics. I know that there are ways to grow, but we did not do any of that.
Honestly, and it's so funny because a lot of people who have that kind of growth, it's the exact same thing. It's just like, no, I just honestly really loved it. I put my heart and my soul into it. I was just myself. I was like, it
Yeah.
sounds like what you're saying is just very open, and it's hilarious on podcasts because like you're just talking to a wall basically in your microphone. And then when people
Yeah.
actually start listening, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you made me say that.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yes,
seem
I would
like
get
it.
messages. No, I would get
Yeah.
messages and I would be like, did I really say like I seriously
Yeah.
said that? What was I thinking?
You're like,
Like
oh
that
my
is
God, I was saying that in my
insane.
room by myself. You heard that?
Yes, you heard that is seriously how it's exactly how it feels like, oh my God, I just put that out there. Yeah, that's
It's
wild.
such a mind fuck. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so for you then, do you think it's really like how the way that you're on your podcast, like being very authentic and just like do you do a lot of storytelling on your podcast or what's kind of your vibe on it if someone here listening hasn't heard it?
Yeah, so for the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast, I wanted a place to be able to share my story, what I went through. For example, I am 44 years old
Hmm.
currently.
Hmm.
I started my fitness journey, which sounds so cheesy to say, fitness journey,
I know.
when my son was 6 months old. So 16 and a half years ago is when I started diving into this world. So think of all the things that I've been through in 16 and a half years, not only in life, raising two infants basically to now to
Yeah.
adults basically, let alone all of those things that are interweaved into trying foods and macros and cutting out carbs and, dieting and cardio, like all of the things that I experienced, not saying that I'm perfect at it. But I would have clients, or I was in the online space before, so even if they're not clients, I'm having conversations online. People would ask my thoughts on, and I have thoughts about things, but I also have my experience. So it's like, well, this is the science, this is what I think, but this is my experience, and I really wanted to bring my experience into it. So I do a lot of that on the podcast, definitely storytelling in a sense, but more so, recently I did an episode about body dysmorphia and how it's something that's always there. The way we look at ourselves in a photo and the way we look at ourselves in a mirror, it's just different the way that we see ourselves and other people. And I did an episode about that. And of course, I've talked about how my own issues with that have changed in the last 16 and a half years. And so, but that is the part. I mean, I feel like anyone can get on. And when I started the podcast, it was like, there's so many fitness, even when I started doing this job, there's so many personal trainers, there's so many, there's so many coaches, there's so many podcasts about fitness. Why the fuck would anybody care what I have to say? But I just felt like I needed to say it anyway, just in case. And so, yeah, I'm definitely taking a topic, giving the science, giving the breakdown, giving my thoughts, and giving my experience and saying this is different than it's going
Hmm.
to be different for me. It's going to be different for you. And that's kind of the whole point. But that seems to be what people really resonate with. And when I give specific examples, people will say, like, that is exactly how I feel. That is exactly what I went through. And I think that's what's kind of missing in this space is, yeah. And even on my own social media, it's hard to intertwine the fitness with how you're going to feel doing that workout or something like that. So not just saying like, oh, I didn't want to do my workout today, but I showed up and did it anyway. But what does that feel like? There's so much more behind the scenes, and being able to share that and having women say, oh, it's okay to feel like that. My favorite fitness influencer feels like that. I can feel like that too, is really I can just see their eyes light up and the confidence in their face when they know that that's
Hmm.
okay. So that transparency has definitely been helpful.
I think that you kind of hit like the perfect trifecta when it comes to your podcast too. Like you sitting here like, well, I just really loved it and I got on my podcast. Like, you know me, my brain literally thinks in like strategy. And
Yeah.
so what I see, like just hearing you and obviously knowing your podcast, like I get these like bings. I'm like, oh, bing, this was it, and bing, this was it. I see like fitness was in the title, and you literally like that's obviously a really good thing to have. I find so many people are trying to come up with these like really cutesy, fun
Yeah.
names for their stuff. I mean, I'm my podcast isn't really a good example of that. It's called Unemployed. No one's searching that. But at the same time, it's like you kind of hit that where it's just like, oh, perfect. That's so clear. You yourself as a brand are just like such a no BS kind of person, which I really like. And that's like literally what your podcast is. It's like unfuck your
Hmm.
fitness. It's just so clear of what it is. Your episodes are, I was just kind of like going through them today a little bit too. They're like super tangible, short, to the point, but then also you bring in that storytelling piece, which is exactly what you said. People aren't going to latch on to someone if
Yeah.
it's just like straight strategy or straight facts. Like you need to have that both. And I think you do such a really good job at that, which is no
Yeah.
surprise that it's taken off. So when
Yeah.
it took off for you and you started seeing all those numbers, what was like your initial reaction?
I was scared to death. I was so excited that people were listening, but I think I forgot because I'm not a strategy person, which you know, and which is why I love you, because working with you, because I just dive into something like this will be great. This will be
Yeah.
so fun. And I will be able to help people, work with people. That's always what I have loved to do is just help. And I'm very empath driven. And so when I started getting messages and downloads, it was like, this is so great. People are loving the podcast. That was my goal. I forgot that part of my goal should probably be to prepare for the influx of fitness clients I'm going to have. And so that piece I was not ready for. But I did learn, I was very much thrown into the trenches of, oh shit, I have a lot of clients now, and I'm not really set up for success on the back end of the
Mhm.
strategy piece of all of that. And so that was hard. And then just kind of figuring out again what people are going to want, what they need from me in a business sense. How do I carry the podcast pieces as well as myself? When people want to work with you, they want to work with you. That's why I like you. I want to work with you. So when they want to work with me, so I'm thinking, shit, now I really need to get the business end put together because I can't help them effectively without that. And so that was scary. It was really, really scary. I just remember crying. It was a really rough time in my life anyway. And I just remember crying and thinking, oh God, I can't do this. I'm not ready for this. Oh no. Along with, oh, thank God they're listening. And I'm so excited. So it was a
Oh,
total mind fuck, kind of like COVID was, where I was like, oh, this is a good time. I'll throw myself into the online world, and then went, oh shit, I don't know anything about the online world. Then I thought I had a handle on it. And then I was like, oh shit, I don't know anything about actually coaching that many people at a time. And I wasn't ready on the back end for that. So the good with the bad, per usual.
yeah, and like also why I just love you so much is you like that's entrepreneurship. I feel like that's what makes the best entrepreneurs and like the best most successful business owners is like you're throwing yourself in being like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna make it work. It's gonna happen." But like also this is so scary whereas there's people who do the opposite and they're like, "I'm not ready for that. Maybe in a year, maybe in a couple months." And you're just like the complete opposite, which I love. So when you felt like that and you were just like, oh wow, I'm getting all these inquiries, people are messaging me, what happened from there? Because you said that you didn't have necessarily the your business wasn't set up for the amount of inquiries that were coming up. So like, what did you do?
That is when I started um, listening to your content, honestly, a
Okay.
lot more. I was not in a place in my life at that point. Like I said, it was a really hard time in my life. So, yeah, I was getting clients and money was coming in, but I was not financially in a place physically in my personal life to be able to hire anyone or kind of dive into that. So, I really started focusing on your content and putting it into play and just figure it like this is exactly what I have to do and kind of figuring all that out. It's also kind of when I started diving into your content and hiring you when I could. But I knew that I had to piece by piece break it down. So yeah, I'm very much I will cry. I was literally face down on any floor in my home, just like, what have I done? I'm falling apart mentally. And now I have these clients coming to me. Not only am I not mentally stable right now in my own life, so who am I to coach these people? Not only that, but then literally, I don't know if I have enough room on my app. I don't know if I have the capacity, the bandwidth
Yeah.
physically, to be able to take on these clients. But I remember kind of pulling myself up. And then I'm a very much, just like you said, I'm very much I will figure it out. I just need a minute. I need a little breakdown. I need a quick anxiety attack. And then I'll get out my planners. I had 16 notebooks. I had a circle kitchen table at the time. And I remember just filling that thing with notes and trying to figure it out. So breaking it all down backwards of people are really wanting one-on-one coaching. What am I helping them with? What are they going to want? They're going to want me. How am I going to help them? And I just made it happen. I knew enough by then to know I need some videos. I need that. They need one-on-one time, and just to kind of break it down. But I had to really step back and say, what do they want help with? What do I have the capacity for? And then maneuver from there. But I have changed things a lot. Like you said, entrepreneur, what I decided to do at that point in time, my entrepreneur brain has shifted. I don't know, every other month it feels like since then
Oh yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, that's exactly what I did was just cried and took a step back and figured it the fuck out as usual.
So what did you create? What did you, because I know you said that you were trying to figure out what these people were going to need. What did you come up with?
So most of the clients at that point in time were coming to me for one-on-one coaching. And
Hmm.
that wasn't something that I previously had an influx of clients about. And I wasn't really advertising that on purpose because I really didn't have the bandwidth for that. So I have my Fit Club membership. I still had that at the time. That's kind of my OG. And then I had different programs, a 6 week and 8 week, your typical. And so typically people were coming in and purchasing those. So I'm just on the app kind of moderating. These clients that I was getting wanted to work with me specifically. So they were one-on-one clients, which was like, oh my God, this is amazing. My life is kind of falling apart. I'm now financially so stable
Yeah.
all of a sudden, scared to death. But I really took it as a challenge to, okay, they want to work with me. This is great. This is what I fucking want. And I want to work with them. And I know how to do this. And so it was one-on-one clients. It was a one-on-one package that I had to create. So I already had my app, Kristy Castillo Fit app, where they could be on with workouts. And then I ended up creating a course for them. And we would meet every other week for one-on-one calls. But I took the time to kind of step back, and it's hard because I wanted to feel like, as an entrepreneur, you always want to feel like, and I was taught in the Beachbody world to feel like you have it all together. Pretend like you have it all together. Pretend like you are the expert. Of course, I am the expert. So act like that.
They actually
But
taught you that?
yes, oh,
What?
100%.
Oh
Everything
my
that I
God, that's
had.
the first time I heard that.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm like, that's a whole nother thing that I had to kind of unlearn
Wild.
was like, you kind of pick these 5 pillars of things that you'll talk about, and you really don't veer from those 5 pillars, which is okay. But it was very much like be the expert in those 5 things, whether you are or not.
Oh my God.
It's just so weird. So I had to take a step back and just say, and kind of ask them, not that I didn't know what I was doing, but what do you want from me? What would you benefit most from me? I would say something like my one-on-one coaching is very, very flexible, which it is. But do you need one-on-one calls? Do you need one a month? Do you need two a month? Just kind of honestly diving in to figure out what they needed, which was hard because they were all different, but it helped me to realize what the majority wanted from me. What was I able to give them and how helpful was that? If they wanted a call once a week and we got on once a week, did they keep their appointment times? Did they stick to that? Was it helpful? Or was the once a month call, just as good? And so I learned a lot from doing that, but it was kind of a hit to the ego to be like, well, I don't really have a package and kind of like, what do you need from me? And I'm happy to, figure that out. And I packaged it as kind of, it's very customizable and just kind of go with the flow. So that's kind of how I navigated that. And it felt really good because I wasn't in a space mentally to pretend like I had it all together, quite honestly. And I'm not very good at pretending. So that wasn't something I was game for. But I took what I learned and created things around that. And then once you and I started working together was when I realize that me being the center of it is the most important thing. And if even if they want something, it doesn't mean that I have to give that to them. It doesn't mean that they will
Mhm.
benefit from that. And I have to take care of myself first. So I think my instant influx of clients was so great. It also made me want to burn down my business a couple times. And, you rewrite the story.
Really quick, if you've been thinking of starting your online membership, whether that's an online fitness membership, an online health membership, an online parenting membership, an online business membership, whatever it is, this is the absolute perfect time to join because Million Dollar Memberships Club, my monthly membership, is now enrolling new members until July 31st. first. Million Dollar Memberships Club is my monthly membership helping female founders just like you transition from just up and down one-on-one services to building out a highly profitable and scalable 7-figure online membership program. Now, I want you to just imagine, just for a second, where could you be 12 months from now if you just started today, if you committed to going all in on your membership for an entire year? I know if you are like most people, you have probably kicked yourself before, whether that be for not starting your YouTube in 2014 because now everyone who started their YouTube in 2014 are multimillionaires, or maybe it's not starting your podcast when you wanted to because everyone who started their podcast early are now multimillionaires with top hit shows and living their absolute best life. Maybe it was about TikTok. Maybe you wish you got on that TikTok train in 2020 and did your little dances because now look at all the TikTokers living their best life too. Do not let your membership be that next thing. Just because you might be feeling overwhelmed right now, just because you feel like maybe you're too busy right now, those are both reasons why you need to start your membership right now. Do not wait until it feels too crowded. Creators and business owners are starting to see how impactful memberships are. And trust me, I am on the back end of it. This is literally my job, is to be in the back end, the behind the scenes of other coaches and online service providers and creators membership, and just being in the online membership world. And I'm getting asked more and more for speaking engagements, to come on podcasts, to speak on this, to guest coach in programs, all on membership. So what does that tell me? It tells me that memberships are on the rise, and they are on the rise in the general coaching and creator industry. And because I have the inside scoop on this, when I say start now, trust me, start now. If you have not started now, start now. If you have been imagining a life and a business where new members are joining overnight while you slept, your community is absolutely obsessed with your membership. People talk about your work, they share it, they basically sell it for you because they just love being inside of your membership community so much. You're no longer stuck on back-to-back calls or chasing clients or in that up and down income cycle because you've built something scalable, something that makes money, something that actually has purpose, has meaning, that gets people results, that creates community, that creates a legacy without burning you out. If that is you, you have two choices right now. You can decide that that will be your life, that you will go all in, or you can keep waiting and probably end up kicking yourself when you start seeing everyone else who started now, when you start seeing their memberships absolutely take off and their lives change. You will end up kicking yourself for not following the nudge when you initially had it. Like I said, Million Dollar Memberships Club, my monthly membership, is now open. And when you join, you're going to get monthly live support and strategy calls where we workshop your membership and give you personalized feedback. Trust me, you get so much value in this membership. It's basically like a high ticket mastermind for a low ticket membership price. Plus, you're getting 8 step-by-step Million Dollar Membership setup guides so that you can build your membership from $0 to 7 figures with our proven framework. It's so easy to follow. It's so checklist set up. It is absolutely the best because you're busy. You don't have time to sit through modules and videos and try and decipher what you need to do. Everything is just checklisted out for you. You'll also have daily Q&A support from me and the other successful members inside of the club. You have monthly template drops. You have our full plug and play template vault, which gives you access to just everything done for you, from email funnels to onboarding emails to onboarding sequences to content calendars to actually execute a really high vibe, engaging community inside of your membership. It's all done for you. And you get access to an exclusive community of other female founders who just get it. This is an instant network access. This is something people work years to build, and you just get that handed right to you when you join Million Dollar Memberships Club. Everyone inside of there are building successful memberships. Everyone inside of there are working towards a 7-figure membership. Some are starting from 0, some are already starting from 6 figures, but everyone has a common goal, and the vibe is just so high. You're absolutely going to love it. And when you join now, at the time of this episode dropping, you get an entire year for $400 off and all 8 of the membership setup guides and the entire template vault unlocked the minute you join. You can literally jump in right now and have access to myself, our $1 Million Memberships Club network, and every single tool and strategy you need to set your membership up and scale it today. However, you don't have that long to do it. The deadline is July 31st, 2025. So if you are listening to this episode in real time, the deadline is coming right up. You can go to the link in the show notes to find the full details page for $1 Million Memberships Club. And of course, if you have any questions, do not wait. Do not hesitate to ask. Don't wait until the doors close. Get on Instagram, send me a message, ask me right now, and we'll answer all of your questions before you jump in. All right, let's get back into the episode.
I know. I don't know anyone who's had a really great successful period in their business or just like have been in business for a while who hasn't felt the exact same way. It's like we have these phases and these ebbs and flows, and it sounds like you figure it out. It's just one of those things, like you jump out of the plane and you just figure it out on the way down. And I think you're just such a good example of that. And I really respect that about you. Like I think that's such a strong trait in entrepreneurs and something that I just think you have to have. Like I kind of want to take a little pivot here
Yeah.
and maybe talk about that because
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this in the business space since 2019. And you talk, and I started in fitness, and you're obviously in fitness. And so we probably hear a lot of like the same kind of things where we just want to like shake someone by the shoulders and be like, come on, like you have to make the decision of what it is that you're wanting and go for it. And like life is going to hit you because life is fucking hard and life sucks sometimes. And there's always these things that happen. And it's like the people who really make it and get their goals and do whatever it is they want to do, it's because they just take the shit and they go through anyways and they don't let all
Yeah.
these external factors get in the way. And so for you, if you were to be looking at say like your fitness clients or even your personal journey, because I know you're really open about your personal journey and the correlation to how that kind of fits with business. What are some
Yeah.
of the similarities that you see that maybe like have tripped you up or trip your clients up, or that you think just seeing other entrepreneurs trips them up?
I think this is such a good pivot. I'm so glad you did. So I'm like, this is so good. Once I knew, and I don't remember how I figured out, but I think it was just the coaches that I had hired. That's literally your job to coach me through that that's what's going to happen. You're going to create something because I would put my heart and soul into this 12-week program or whatever it is. And maybe it didn't go over well or whatever the case may be. And just hearing over and over, like, not everything you create is going to be great. People aren't going to love it. It's going to, some things are going to suck.
Yeah.
And if you just have to keep going. Like once I figured out and got that through my brain of like, okay, this is gonna suck, kind of, I'm gonna have to go through some shit to figure this out, and I can't really be attached and all of that kind of stuff. Knowing I was gonna fall flat on my face was helpful because I think doing that without a coach, I don't know that it would have stopped me, but it would have taken me a lot longer.
Takes you
I don't,
longer.
yeah, for sure. I think I'm very stubborn, I'm very outgoing around certain people, but I don't know that I knew that I had that in me to be just a fighter and to get up and,
Mhm.
keep going. I don't know if I was ever really faced with something like that. I do know for myself, my fitness journey, well, like I said, once I started into my fitness journey, I sucked. I mean, it was just everybody that starts any kind of anything new sucks so bad. I'm doing workouts that I have no idea what my actual goal is. Like I started so messy. I had no clue what I was doing. The amount of times that I fucked that up and I never stopped. I have been so consistent. I bet in those 16 years I've not worked out other than having kids. Well, no, I was done having kids. So not even then, I guess, other than vacations and things. When I had COVID really, really bad one year, it was maybe a 2-week break from working out, but I'm so consistent. I love it. It's just, that's something that I've always done. I think my fitness journey really primed me for this journey, knowing that some of my workouts are going to suck. I'm not going to want to do them. I have to eat right in order to see the muscle get, all of that
Mhm.
correlation in the fitness world really helped me to see, okay, I have to just keep going. I have to just show up on social media. I have to do, just like I have to do all these things on my fitness journey, I have to do all these things in my business journey and kind of correlate it like that and show up every single day, whether it's messy, whether it's taking a rest day and getting off social media if that's what I need. Just figuring that out for me helped so much. And yeah, a lot of it is my personality. A lot of it is don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I'm going to fail. A lot of it is just me being bullheaded too. Like, I'll figure it out. I got
Yeah.
this. Don't worry about it. But for my clients, I would say it's a lot of the same thing. I see a lot of these ladies like, I'm sick of feeling this way. I've tried all of the things. You're being honest about your journey online, Kristy. So I trust you that I can tell you how I'm really feeling. A lot of my clients would say things like, with other coaches, I felt like I had to not log all of my food because they would yell at me, or not have, certain foods because they would yell at me. It's just kind of a coaching style, but nothing's off the table. You can show me your food logs. You can fuck up a workout. You can miss your workout. I do the same thing. And I'm very honest when I respond, like, I missed my workout today too. We'll do it tomorrow. It's not a big deal. And I think that attitude of just picking yourself up and figuring it out came from my fitness journey. And I see that a lot in my clients too, of just like, I'm sick of feeling like this. I'm ready to buck up and do something different. So it's a lot of a personality trait too.
Do you think there's anywhere in your business that you really have to use that personality trait?
Uh, for me, it's little things. Like I have to buck up honestly and like be strategic and take myself out of it. It's harder for me to do the little things that I think, like, you love those things. I hate those things. Like, that's not natural for me.
Let's be
It's
clear, I don't necessarily love them. I just
that's how
can't
your brain
fucking
is
help
wired.
it.
Yeah, that's how your brain is wired. Mine
And
is
sometimes I
not.
love them. Okay, some things I do. You're right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you well enough. But no, I think there's not really anything. Like I said, if I know, if you've given me a blueprint to my business as far as this is what's going to happen to get to where you want to go. Once I know that those are the things that I have to do, I'm totally fucking fine doing it. I just don't know what I need to do to get there. Once
Right.
I know, I'm good. And I was like that with my fitness journey too. Once I figured out body recomp and I'm like, I want to look like this. And I went to someone and said, I want to look like this. They gave me the plan and I did it. So I don't really have a problem, honestly, like a struggle with kind of bucking up and doing it. Some things are not fun for me and I hate them, but I'll do it if it's on a list. I'll do
I
it.
get it. I get it. I think, do you like when you see other people though, do you think then it's like a determination factor of why people fall off like fitness or business? And there's some people that, like, I'm sure you've come across this, where there's maybe some people who you give them a plan, they have a plan. You yourself, being Kristy, would see the plan, follow it. But let's just say like someone knows exactly what they need to do in their business, or someone knows exactly what they need to do in their fitness, but it's not happening for them. They can't seem to actually stick through it. What do you think that is? What's the difference between you and that?
For me and my clients personally, that was always self-sabotage. I think I've looked at it in different ways of maybe you just don't want it bad enough, or maybe it's not a good time for me, or maybe I can't. But I think those are all excuses for me personally and for my clients when they will say, I can't do this, or I don't have time for this. It's never for my clients, it's never I can't do this. They always come to me and say, I'm having trouble fitting all of this in. Can we figure something else out? I think that's
Hmm.
because they know they can come to me and say that, whereas maybe someone else, they didn't feel comfortable with that and they would just have to quit. And I think it's the same for me in who I work with. I want to work with someone business wise who I can say, okay, I had this idea. I've done this with you before. I had this idea. I actually don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something else.
We've
But
literally come to a call and you have a completely different business. And I'm like, I'm having a hard time
what?
following here. What's going on?
Yeah, that's my brain. That's me now telling myself that I can't stick to, or I don't feel authentic with, or something's not working because I did the
Yeah.
things that I was supposed to do and it's not feeling right.
Hmm.
That's me knowing myself well enough now to know that I'm not going to spend any more time on that right now because it's not
Yep.
feeling good. But previously, not sticking to a business, previously, if it would have been, that was in my situation. It was a coach that had an exact plan for me, what they thought was going to work because it worked for their business. Me either, there's two things at play. Me not being able to say, I don't really feel comfortable with that. That's not how I want to do my business. And on the second side, it was me being scared of implementing that, having growth, not knowing what to do with it, not trusting myself, not feeling confident in myself. and holding myself back and telling myself, oh, I don't really want to do that. I don't have time, when really I do have the time. I'm just so fucking scared of what people are going to say if I go ahead and do that. So it's always been those two things for me personally.
Yeah, and it just sounds like you've really gotten to know yourself and what's like a yes for you, what's a no for you. Something that I also kind of heard somewhere in that is like setting up. I think, like, personally, I think a lot of what happens, and I know this has happened for me, is like, let's just say you have a new health goal or a new business goal or whatever, and you go ham on it and you just put all of this stuff onto your plate. And then it's just like your environment and your life are just not actually set up
Mhm.
for that goal that you want. And I think that's such a huge lesson when it comes to business or health. Like, they literally go so hand in hand. It's wild, but it's if you have something that you're wanting to do, grow your business, grow, fix your health, whatever, setting up your environment in a way that's actually conclusive to what it is that you're wanting. So not piling in, I'm going to hit the gym twice a day. I'm going to post 5 pieces of content today. I'm going to post 3 podcasts, whatever it is. It's actually knowing yourself, knowing what your goals are, and being able to set up your life for a sustainable way to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of when I talked about the influx of clients that I got, and I got covered my kitchen table with papers. It was like, yeah, trying to figure out what fits into my life, and that's
Yeah.
exactly, and my environment. And I still do have, actually this week is kind of a step back for me. It's just been kind of a mess with organization and time. It's my son's birthday this week, and just things have been crazy, and I haven't had time to get my workouts in. And just this morning, it was another fucked up morning, and I thought, oh my God, I'm not gonna have time to do it later. And I'm like, who cares? Just take the, like, get out your notebook and write down what's the problem, what went wrong with time, where did we miss schedule, and how, and take the time to do that and set up my environment for success for next week, rather than just putting myself down and kind of flailing. I always will take a step back now and say, something is clearly not working. What's not working? Let's kind of dive into that instead of beating yourself up about it. So that's something too that I do in my personal life, and I have my clients do, of like, come back to me with a list of what's not working and why, and we'll absolutely fix it, because you will not stick to something. Now, if you told me to work out twice a week or twice a day, I would never. And if you told me to post 5 times a day, I would never. Like, I can't. I'm not willing to. I can't. I don't think I even can do that. I think I know the difference now between, like, I cannot do that
Yeah.
sustainably. And I also know myself well enough to know, if I can't do it and I pretend like I'm going to, then I'm going to feel like shit if I don't. And I don't really want to do that for myself. So yeah, and also another thing that you said was just, I sound really confident in getting to know myself more and knowing more of what I'm capable of. That all happened because I fell flat on my face. So let's be real. You know that. Like, I would not know, I would not have the resilience that I have, or the confidence in I
Uh-huh.
have, if I hadn't have fallen flat on my face and showed myself what I'm incapable of doing. So now I
Hmm.
know what I'm capable of doing, and that's fine. And a lot of that confidence came from literally laying face down on the floor crying and saying, I can't do this like this. I can do this. I just have to make it a little bit different. So that has absolutely helped. And that comes through, I think, in my coaching as well, of my clients. Like, you don't have to do it that way. Do it your own way. It's fine to take a minute and step back and figure it out. Without that, without falling on your face and knowing what you can't do, you won't know what you can do. So that's a really big piece of my coaching as well.
It's so true. And
Authentically.
it's just like
Yeah.
that concept of just keep on going, keep throwing it out there. Like, this might work, this might not work. It's like we can't get attached. We can't get so attached to the outcome of everything that we're
Mhm.
doing that it's actually holding us back and literally doing the opposite of what we want it to do. I think that's something that I've done, I'm sure you've done. I think a lot of people do is they are just so fucking attached to the outcome. Like, yes, be attached to your goal and what you
Yeah.
want and be attached to the life that you want. Like, hold that vision so clear. I'm a huge
Mhm.
advocate of that, is always holding that vision. But it's like little things like, oh, will this content work? Or like, oh, maybe should I try doing 4 workouts a week? Like, let's just see what happens. It's just like you can't be so attached to those little things, or else you're gonna fucking spin in circles your entire life.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think being flexible, being fluid with the journey, I think is something that like that's what you're speaking on basically is just like be not be so attached to the outcome, be attached to your goal, but
Mhm.
the way that I wanted to get there, the way that I saw myself getting to the end was, X, Y, and Z, these certain programs or this certain way of coaching or this way of showing up. It's not been like that at all. I
Yeah.
mean, something now when something doesn't work out, I think, well, something better is happening. I don't know the path that I'm going to get there. So to be very fluid with it is so real because I would have never thought that I would have the confidence to start a podcast. I was by no means, I was scared to
Really?
death. No, I was so scared.
You come across as such a confident person to me. That actually surprises me.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. And I am. I'm confident in the message. I'm confident in what I want to say. I'm not confident that people are going to love it. I
Yeah,
think that's
that
the
makes sense.
part which I mean that's just normal that I'm learning that. But yeah, even when I got my personal training certification, I knew that that's what I wanted, but for years I stuck with Beachbody because it was an umbrella.
Yeah.
It was that name and I had that to coach me. I had that to be there for me. Going out on my own, I felt completely lost. And then going out on the podcast was like, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. Why would anyone want to listen to me?
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I would have never thought that the podcast would have brought me so much happiness, honestly, first of all, and so many friends, and then the business that I have. I wouldn't have thought, oh, this podcast is it for sure. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think if I would have thought the podcast is it, I need to use it as a tool to grow X, Y, and Z, I wouldn't have done it so authentically, which would
Hmm.
have then held me back. So it's all happening like it's supposed to, but I have never been. That's why I said, like, when I started the podcast, I was very much like, I don't care about the numbers right now. I want to just be so committed to bringing content that I feel good about. That was my only fucking goal. And that's how I feel about it every episode is like, I feel really good about this. I hope you do too.
Hope you
So
like it.
yeah, seriously. But I think just being so fluid with like, well, I'll give this a try and see what happens
Yeah.
is literally how I approach pretty much every decision of every single day of my
You
life right
have
now.
to. You have to. And
With
look where,
teenagers, yeah.
okay,
I'll just
yeah.
see what happens.
I actually want to talk about that because listening to you, it's like, I'm sure you guys listening, you have a lot going on. You have your clients, you have the podcast. The podcast absolutely took off. You have a big business now. Like you have all these things going on, but you're also a mom.
Yeah,
And obviously, I'm a mom. Our kids are different ages. But I mean, when you started your business, your kids would have been in the teen, like just entering the teenage stage,
yeah.
basically, like, or in the thick of it, right?
Oh
Which
yeah.
is a hard time, I'm sure. You also had like a lot of personal stuff going on, you mentioned. How did you balance business? Like, take us through what
So
did you
hard.
balance it? Was it a fucking mess? Like, what do you do now? Have you found your balance? I'd love to know that.
Yeah, that's hard. That's always something. I think that's fluid as well, where
Mm.
that's something that I've learned is I need to put them first. Not only do I need to put them first, I want to put them first. Sometimes I think I want to focus so much on my business right now. And I think we've even had that conversation of my priorities right now are to enjoy the summer. I think even going into a couple months ago when we chatted, I was like, going into summer, my son is somehow 17 years old. It goes so fucking fast. I don't want to miss a single second of it. So that needs to be my priority. So to pivot, take on less clients. I'm not taking any one-on-one clients right now. Actually, I took the whole summer off, which is so great. Also,
Mhm.
really scary to do. But no, I did not have much balance. In fact, starting on social media, you feel like I felt like if I didn't answer this person back right away, they would go find someone else. If I wasn't online 24/7, just in case, I would miss out on a client. And so I was very unbalanced in the beginning. And then just kind of thinking my kids are always seeing me on my phone and like they don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I'm working. Yes, I'm trying to make money for them. Yes, I'm trying to grow a business. They don't know and they wouldn't care. They want my attention.
Yeah.
So I definitely had to pull back. And that was kind of one thing I wanted with coaching too, was some structure of business hours. How do you find business hours as an entrepreneur, as someone who works at home, just
Yeah.
all of that.
Mhm.
So I've definitely pivoted now. It depends on Honestly, I think it just depends on your season of life. I mean, I always want to put my kids first, but I've always been very blunt with my kids of like, I work online. This is what I do, and I have to work on my phone sometimes. And if you ever want to call me out on it and say, "Hey, could you over here please do that? But this is what I'm doing. And just so that they know that I'm not
Yeah.
just kind of scrolling social media, I don't know if it'll make them feel any better, but I need you to be quiet. I need to go record a podcast. I'm going to work out. Don't bother me until this timer goes off. I've always been, even since they were little, I've done that. But oh, just very, very open with them. So we have my kids and I have a ridiculous open line of communication, probably, honestly. But yeah, now I'm much better with that. But I think that was from a place of myself being like, how is this sustainable? If I'm going to, do this forever, how am I going to be able to be a mom first and also, put my business out there? So that was a very, I mean, sometimes I feel like I don't even have it all sorted. Honestly, I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert on that topic. I think it's just fluid with life. In the fall when my daughter's back in car college classes and my son's back in high school, I'll have so much more time to focus on my business. So I think it just goes in seasons like everything else.
I know. I find that that was something I mean, kids, they're constantly changing. So I'm like, I was gonna say right now I feel like I have a balance, but that's probably gonna change in like, I don't know, two
Yeah,
months. Who knows? It's
soon.
always changing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I find that that's like a huge, not like guilt point, but kind of
Mhm.
where it's like when you are a business owner and you work from home, you work from your phone, and then you have your kids there. It's like you obviously you want to put your kids first, but then it's also like your business is what's going to
Is
provide for your kids. Like that, if
yeah.
you're not putting your business, your kids aren't going to be taken care. So it's like this game of whatever. But I find the same thing, having clear boundaries around your phone or around like when you're working is such a game changer. But it's hard to turn off at the same time because
Oh
as an
yeah.
entrepreneur, it's like you get an idea at 7 p.m. and you have to go put it in your phone. Like, I don't know if you're like me, I'm very
Totally.
much like scattered where if I have something, it's going in a notebook. I have to like try and find a way to plan it somewhere or else it's just gone. Like it has to get out of my brain. And yeah, I mean, it's fucking hard. And
Yeah, it is hard.
I think it's good too, like for our kids to see us
Mhm.
working and for them to like see the boundaries and for you to have that open communication, I think is so important. And
Yeah.
I don't think like it can be too open. I think it's such a good thing to have coming from not having any communication with mine. I think it's such a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I've always been pretty big on communication, and I think it's fun for them to know. I mean, I had to, of course, say, obviously, I'm working online. I'm a coach online, I post online,
Mhm.
whatever. When they were little, and now I've always done hair. They've always knew me as a hairstylist, so now I'm not gonna do hair, and now I work from home, and this is what I do, and this is what and as they grow older, they understand more. So now I can, they're asking when's a million downloads coming, or how many clients do you have, or I'll look down at my
Oh, that's cute.
phone and I'll say, "Oh, I got a shirt order," whatever is kind of happening. I'll be like, "Oh, we need to go pack some shirts up," and
Oh,
they're just, it's so cool. So I think that's another thing is like you're gonna fuck it up. So
yeah.
there's no right or wrong. And I feel like too with my kids, even as far as fitness, like pushing them to go to the gym, pushing them to be super healthy, pushing them to eat certain things, shoving macros down their throat, business wise, I've always just kind of been like, this is what it is. Like I'm not perfect at it. I'm gonna screw this up.
Mhm.
Sorry that I wasn't there for this or, whatever. But I think just being honest with them and like, I'm just learning as well. There's no right or wrong. And I think how people parent is different. If you want to put your business first, sometimes you have to do that. And if you want to put your kids, sometimes you have to do that. There's no right or wrong. And just because I'm saying that's what I do doesn't mean that's right for everyone either. I think just really when it comes down to like what I coach in general, it's just really listening to yourself. If that feels authentic for me to say to my kids, hey, I can actually not play with you right now. I have to work. A lot of parents have to fucking work. It's not,
Totally.
I feel like sometimes it was like I work from home, so I should be able to control my schedule. A lot of people work
Mhm.
second shift, third shift. It is what it is. I have to go to work, whether it's downstairs or whether it's at a building. So I
Yeah.
think eventually it was just like I can't do this perfectly, so I'm just gonna do it messy and they're gonna watch. So there's no right or wrong. I think just whatever feels good for you and your family.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point too. It's like when we work from home, it's all of a sudden we think that, oh, well, I can just be so flexible. Like I don't have to work if they're home or if they're doing this, I can do that. Like that's such a good point where we
Yeah,
just feel like it's different and it's not. Like we have
it's
to have those
not.
boundaries.
Yeah.
So, little bit of a pivot again. as we're wrapping up here. What is something that you are building right now inside your business or something that you're excited for right now or like a big goal that you have? Where's Unfuck Your Fitness going?
I feel like I feel like we're due for a call soon, so you'll
Good.
get to hear about this.
Okay.
No, I feel like I'm shifting again.
Oh,
I'm working,
thanks,
I'm inside
Christy.
of your, I know, fantastic. I'm inside of your membership club, so I'm building out my membership and feeling like this week in particular, it is Thursday for reference. This whole week, I have just felt like I am getting so many ideas. I've had my notes app open, like you said. I have no desire to create content right now because I feel like my brain is like idea, idea, idea. I'm hearing something. I'm like, that is a great episode. That is a great video topic. That's a great business. Just like which is great. So I'm just kind of soaking that up. So it's kind of a weird week over here,
Well,
but
you've given yourself space too
I
with the
have.
summer.
Yeah, I
So,
have, which was very much on purpose. So
yeah.
I'm kind of, soaking that all up. But I'm very much, I would say what I'm doing right now is very much tweaking from going into 200th episode of Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. A million downloads is coming soon. That feels to me like a new lease on the podcast, which is very exciting. It's feeling like let's fucking go energy is coming into that.
Mhm.
So I'm really going to build Unfuck Your Fitness right now. Like the app is Kristy Castillo Fit. Things are kind of turning into Unfuck Your Fitness, meaning I'm kind of taking myself out of it, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
But other than that, just really working on my membership, that has been so amazing as far as just having something that's really solid that I love working on and my clients are loving. And it's allowed me to take a break this summer and just do other things beyond your podcast, beyond different podcasts, have more guests on my podcast. It's opened up a lot of time for me and I feel really good about that. So I'm just kind of pouring all of my energy into my membership for work and then otherwise kind of listening to what the universe, whatever we want to say, is telling me that's kind of happening because I know well
Yeah.
enough to not fight that. I'm just, like I said, my notes app is kind of going crazy. So where I'm going, I don't know at the moment, to be honest. That's my focus.
I am so excited for this call. Whenever
Yeah,
you, oh my God.
should be good. It should
Yeah.
be. I know. I got your email a couple weeks ago and I'm like, I can't right now. I don't know what we'd even talk about. It would be like, ugh. Be a big brain dump.
Anytime. Well, I
Uh,
wonder too, like just taking the break for the summer and kind of just like not really necessarily having the commitments that you've had to have with the one-on-ones and
yeah.
just like being this open channel basically for this stuff to come through. It's exciting. You're in a really
Yeah.
exciting time right now.
Game
I
changer. I
love
also got
this.
some office space. I don't know if you saw that on Instagram or if I told you
No.
that, but I did for the summer get office space because I'm recording, I don't know, however, episodes and then
Mhm.
content too. So I rented some office space. So
Nice.
that has felt like yeah, it's been really nice to be able to have that space, just to get clear-minded and then yeah, everything's happening. So yeah, that space has been really helpful, which is something I would have never given myself space or
Yeah.
grace, kind of
Yeah.
is hard to come by, but yeah,
Up
some expansion
levels.
is
I
coming.
love
I know
it.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do some rapid fire to wrap
Okay.
up here. If you had to unfuck one thing about how women do business, what would you say? What would that be?
I don't know if this is still a thing, but like the sleep when you're dead mentality, I was pretty big into like, I gotta do it right now. I gotta grind, 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 grind. I love that. I've been seeing kind of like this different era, like soft girl, and like I love that too. I think there's a good middle ground there is what I'm trying to say. I don't think there's like an easy way to do entrepreneurship because if you don't listen to the downloads that I'm having or the ideas that I'm having and act on them right away. I truly feel like you have to act and you have to always be
Yeah.
fucking going. And I love that. But bitch, you need some sleep.
Yeah.
I remember the Beachbody mindset was just like show up and go and grind and literally you can sleep when you're dead. And I did that for a long time and it took out my creativity and it's just that mindset I really hate.
Yeah.
So if that's still a thing out there, I would definitely unfuck that for sure.
Yeah, it's like we have to have these phases. Oh man, that could be another episode. I feel like I've had like 3 episodes in a row by the time this one comes out of the whole soft girl thing. And so if you guys have
Oh, I
listened to
haven't
those
even
ones,
nice.
one
Yeah.
came out yesterday
Okay.
with Emily Duncan. I have another
Oh
one
yeah, I saw
with
that.
Angie Lee that's coming, that would have come out already by the time this comes. And then I did one myself before Emily and Angie.
Oh,
And so it's a whole
I
thing.
would so yeah,
It's a whole
yeah,
thing. But yeah, we need to have these phases. Like it's true, you can't like look at what you literally just said. You have all this space and all of a sudden these ideas are coming to you and things are flowing. Like I don't think that's necessarily a not coincidence that you're not like
for sure.
crazy grinding right now, right? Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
like that one. What's one daily habit or maybe like some core habits that you do every day that keeps you feeling like your best self?
Every day I go for a walk and I'm big on the 10,000 steps, but I'm big on a daily walk for myself because it's by myself. I go by myself. I go to
Mhm.
my favorite spot, which is just the literal high school track. I
Really?
love it. It's so calming there.
That's
Yeah,
your
it's my
favorite spot?
favorite. My favorite place. I love being at the
I
track.
didn't expect that.
I used to run like in high school.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
giving
You're
you
running
my
out. Okay.
favorite spot, but
For
yeah,
some
not
reason,
my
I was just
favorite.
thinking you were just like hanging out that like I
No.
don't know why. For some reason, I'm like, I would never run on a track. So I don't, so I
Right.
was just thinking you were
Yeah,
going
no,
there. I'm
I
like,
love it.
really?
Just for that's your favorite place? No, I love it. I love to go
That's
there. It like
crazy.
gets me as soon as I show up there, I'm like, okay, it's run time. Like, but also
Yeah,
fun
that makes sense.
fact, when we were little, when my kids were little, we lived close to the track as well. We live there close now, but different house. And they would have like the football field. They would have the huge sprinkler out to water the football field, and my kids would go run through the football or the sprinkler on the football field and get soaking wet. And they loved it because it's a gigantic sprinkler. And I would get my workout in. So it's like it's just like
Oh, that's
such fun
perfect.
memories there of middle
Yeah.
school for myself and then my kids. But I do that for myself, whether I want to or not. Usually I don't want to. I just want to do a million other things, but I definitely go for a walk. It's so good, clears my head, and I get so many ideas. I message clients back. I'm clear-headed. Or I don't. I just listen to like what I literally whatever the fuck I want to do during that time, I do. I also am very big on just like my own health right now. And like I have always gotten straight up in the morning and taken like my supplements and gone straight out to the gym to work out. So those are kind of my healthy things. And then at the end of the night, I always do a brain dump, kind of what I'm grateful for, how my day went, and what do I need to do tomorrow to get it out of my brain. So those are the three things that I always do.
Love it. Love it. Okay. What is one thing that you're really, let's say like your best and your worst things that you've done in business. So like one thing that you were really, you look back and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I did that in business. And then one thing that you look back and you're like, I kind of wish I didn't do that. Or like, if I didn't do that, I would have saved myself a lot of headache.
Sure. Oh, that's a tough question. I'm so glad that I eventually, I think I had hired enough people at this point where I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it myself. That sounds kind of stupid. Actually, that might be my answer for both. I'm so glad that I decided to do it myself because it really made me fall on my face enough times and really understand that I can do this. I have enough strength and resilience without someone kind of holding me accountable. But also that could be my negative as well. If I hadn't have done it myself, I probably would have saved myself a lot of time. So I think that's my answer for both. I'm just stubborn enough to just be like, I'm not finding anyone to help me in the way that I want. Like they're not listening to me. This is not what I want to do. I'm going to do it my fucking self. I did. Things went really well. That's actually when I started the podcast, cleared everything out, and I was like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And then I thought, shit, now I need someone to help me. So yeah, I think that's my answer for both. Doing it myself.
Okay, cool, cool. And what is one thing that you are really excited for coming up? Just one.
In general,
Yeah.
ooh, mm, I'm really excited for honestly the rest of the summer. That sounds kind of lame. I'm in this kind of chill mode where I'm just really stepping back a lot in life, and I'm just really excited to spend the rest of the summer like doing that. Like I have just been sitting at home watching baseball games. I'm a big baseball fan. I love to just sit around, watch baseball. I love to I'm kind of in this place, like I said, of kind of revamping business, and it feels really, really good. So I feel like I have the space right now to do that. And I don't I don't want to let that go, quite honestly. But yeah, I think I'm just ready to
Yeah.
like chill for the rest of the summer and soak it all up.
I love it. You've been doing your membership's going to be good for that. To keep that vibe going with your podcast.
Yes.
I'm like excited to see the two of these kind of collide.
Yeah.
Your life's gonna be completely different in a year. Like
Yes.
it's wild.
It's one of those spaces where that's why I think I'm really enjoying the downtime and
Hmm.
I really work well at night. That's something that's like your schedule and like who you are kind of comes into that. I get all the ideas at night and I'm just like, go, 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 go. And I will get out my computer and I literally will not sleep if I don't let myself. So lately, I have just been like putting my phone away, getting some snacks, going out to the deck. We have a deck and there's lights, and I'm watching the baseball game, and I'm not thinking about fucking anything. And it's so nice to just have that space to step back. And it's been so nice because a lot of things are changing, and I know that change is coming. So I feel like I need to soak up
Mhm.
this
Oh
calm
yeah.
before things get crazy. And by the time summer's over, I'll be so ready to grind. So,
Oh yeah.
you kind of get in those grind modes where you're like, I need a break. When you're in a break, you're like, I'm ready to go. So I'm excited for that feeling to come back.
I'm excited. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you, find the podcast, maybe connect with you?
Yeah, so the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast is everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Please go listen and send me a message on Spotify. I love getting comments on there. That's the best thing Spotify ever did. I
I
love that so much.
know.
I feel like they're all my little friends. And at Kristy Castillo Fit on Instagram and also at Unfuck Your Fitness podcast on Instagram is where you can find me. Come say hi.
Amazing. Okay, we will link it all and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.